it's Michael again. In this lesson I'll show you I Shot the Sheriff, and we're going to look at Eric Clapton's version. So for you to have a good go at this, you got to know a few bar chord shapes. So if you know at least a few, then give this one a go. So there's two parts of the song basically, and I've just labelled them Section A and Section B. Let's look at Section A then. I'll take you through the chords and the strumming. Okay, so the first chord you need is a G minor bar chord. We then need a C minor 7. And that's plenty to get started with, okay? Now, this has a real cool reggae rhythm to it, so this is what it sounds like. So we've got a few options here to make the rhythm sound like that, okay? And you might notice that it's got kind of a stop-start feel to it. Now, just hold your G minor chord in place the whole time, basically. But what you're going to notice here is I'm only really getting the highest three strings, the skinny ones, to ring out. I have the full shape planted, but I'm muting the thicker strings mostly. And there's a few things you can do here. You can either use palm muting over here, where you set the back of the hand on the strings to give you that percussive sound. So I do a bit of that. And also over here on your bar finger, you can release the pressure a little bit so that it just mutes out the strings that way. And I usually do a bit of both actually to get that sort of sound. So we want one muted note on a downstroke, then a down up on the skinny strings, another muted down on the thicker strings, and then one more downstroke opening up the skinny strings. And that's your basic rhythm for the whole song. Or not so basic, depending on your perspective. Excellent. So just apply this rhythm to the whole song. If you want to get detailed about the strumming and the counting, I always talk about an old video I did in the channel for 16th note rhythms. This is one of those times where knowing about 16th note strumming patterns would help you with this song. If you were to count out this rhythm, it would be 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and. So the other chord we needed was C minor 7. And all these chords with minor or major 7 after them, they always sound really sweet and slightly more jazzy in a way. Now, if you know just a basic minor bar chord, like for example a B minor, from fret 2 of the A string, you're just going to fret 3 here. But take the little finger off to make it a minor 7. And that sounds a bit sweeter. So you had G minor before and C minor 7. So apply the same rhythm to that C minor 7. Now because it's a 5-string chord, you can obviously leave out the big thick string. Do your muting on the lower 2 strings of that chord, string 5 and 4. But again, you want those higher 3 strings coming out. Here's section A. Now let's go over section B. I'll play through it slowly first. Okay, let's break that down. You need a new chord, E flat major 7. Okay, so that's from fret 6 of the A string. With the shape on screen there. So that's your first chord of section B. Then we need a D minor 7. That's just back one fret at fret 5. And it's the same shape you made for C minor 7 earlier on. So this time those two chords are within the one bar. So you're cutting the strumming pattern in half basically. So that is applied to the E flat major 7. That's applied to the D minor 7. Then you've got a full bar of G minor. Do it again. Again. Okay, then the last line of this section, same again. And then this cool little riff. Now this song is in the key of G minor, and this little riff is from the G minor pentatonic scale. Actually the extended pattern. If you know that, you'll recognize it here. This is the riff. 5 to 3 on the D string, but to make it sound a bit more authentic, you got to slide into the 5 to start that off. And you're just basically sliding from fret 4 or 3. It's not overly exact, that sort of thing. So 5 to 3 in the D string. Same on the A string, but you don't have to do the slide into the 5. Then you gotta track back to fret 1 on that string. Another slide from 3 to 5 on that string. Back to 3. Back to 1. And the final note is fret 3 on the low A string with some vibrato. And that is all the sections in I Shot the Sheriff, Eric Clapton's version. Just as a little note, towards the end of section B, you've got to change from doing chords into the little lead guitar part, so you can kind of cheat a little bit on the changeover as you're finishing off the G minor. Just go into kind of muting everything so that you've got a bit of a chance to transition with that slide into the riff, because it really makes the difference. Makes it sound extra cool that way.